So we did symmetry. We found that three types of symmetries are present in a flower. If you can cut the flower, if you cannot cut the flower, if you take a flower and if you try to cut it into two equal halves in any plane, if you don't get equal halves, then we call it as asymmetrical flower. Example, only one flower, canna. Okay. Next, coming to the symmetry of a flower, then there are some flowers where any direction you cut the flower, you will get two equal halves. Any plane, okay? Whether it might be from the top or bottom, any half, anyhow you cut, it is going to give you two equal halves. We call it as radial, like coelian, triton, echinoderm, like that only. This flower can be cut into any halves, okay? Or we also say it as actinomorphic. So many plants divide into two equal halves, and the symbol used for this is writing a plus in a circle. Next, we have bilaterally symmetrical. Here, there is only one plane. In one plane, if you cut the flower, you will get equal halves. We call it bilateral symmetrical or zygomorphic. Okay, the symbol is percentage. So, example for radially symmetrical is all the three families, that is Brassicaceae, Solanaceae, Liliaceae from your textbook, and Fabaceae is zygomorphic. Did you get this? Everybody?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Next, we will do some questions. Okay. Now, they have asked which of the flowers are actinomorphic. What does actinomorphic means? Radially symmetric. Now, how to go through this? Okay. So, you know, I had told you all that the examples of the families are very important. Okay. So, the examples for actinomorphic was Brassicaceae, Solanaceae, and Liliaceae. Now, you know, actinomorphic is Brassicaceae, Solanaceae, and Liliaceae. Now, what you have to do is you need to search which family belongs, which among these plants, which of them belong to Brassicaceae, Solanaceae, Liliaceae. Now, B is which family? Fabaceae. Gulmohar, okay, it doesn't belong to any family. In other family, cabbage. Cabbage belongs to Brassicaceae. So, Brassicaceae is actinomorphic, no? So, Brassicaceae is the answer. Sesbania is Fabaceae. So, Brassicaceae, C is the answer. Did you understand how to go through? Can you explain symmetry once again? Okay. See, symmetry का मतलब क्या है? Okay. So, look at this flower. This is a canna flower. Aniket, this is a canna flower. इसको ना तो किसी भी डायरेक्शन में कट करो, ये सेम नहीं आएगा. Cut it in this direction, you won't get it similar. Okay? Actually, cut it in this direction. देखो, यहाँ पर क्या हो जाएगा? यहाँ थोड़ा, यहाँ ये petal इस तरफ आया है, ये petal इस तरफ आया. You won't get similar halves. Cut it in this direction, again you won't get two equal halves. So equal halves नहीं मिलेगा. ऐसे वाले फ्लावर को हम बोलते हैं asymmetrical flower. ये समझ में आया निकेत? Okay. Next we will go for radially symmetrical. इसको ना किसी भी डायरेक्शन में कट कर लो. इस फ्लावर को किसी भी डायरेक्शन में कट कर लो. Cut it in this half, you'll get two equal halves. कट, उसके बाद फिर से ऐसे वाले डायरेक्शन में कट कर लो. Cut it like this. You got two equal halves, तो तीन petals इस तरफ, तीन petal इस तरफ. अभी ऐसे कट कर लो, you're going to get equal halves. किसी भी डायरेक्शन में कट कर लो, you will get equal halves. ऐसे फ्लावर्स को हम बोलेंगे actinomorphic या फिर radially symmetrical. So for this example is Brassicaceae, Solanaceae, Liliaceae. 4 फैमिली है ना टेक्स्ट बुक में, उसमें से 3 एग्जाम्पल यहाँ आते हैं. Zygomorphic मतलब bilateral symmetrical. इसको ना सिर्फ एक ही प्लेन में से अगर तूने काट लिया, इफ यू कट दिस इन वन प्लेन, ऐसे वाले प्लेन में इफ यू कट इट, you will get equal halves. इसका symbol is this percentage symbol. And the example is FABAC. Did you get it, Aniket? Aniket, did you understand? Okay. Now write down, otherwise you'll forget. Give me 2 minutes, I'll be back. Okay. So now try to answer this question. Remember the examples and try to answer. Yes, Aniket, correct. Anybody else? I got Aniket's answer. Other, the Christabel and Parth.
Ma'am, option A.
Okay, Parth. Christabel.
Yeah, I'll also go with option A.
Okay,
I don't
because you
think
don't.
it's any of the rest.
Okay, fine. Mat, politically right. Okay. So radial symmetry is found in Brassica. Okay, Brassica is an example. Tell me Brassica is an example for Brassicaceae family. Mustard ka naam. Trifolium is, okay, you have not come across this plant. So you can remove it up. Pisum is P. So even that doesn't belong. Even Cassia is a type of a Fabaceae. Even that doesn't come. So Brassicaceae is an example. Is the right answer. Okay, so are you understanding what kind of questions can be asked? Okay, tell me answer for this. Inflorescence is racemose type. I told you racemose inflorescence, you have two examples. One is Brassicaceae and Fabaceae. And cymose, two examples. That is Solanaceae and Liliaceae. Now tell me, where will you find inflorescence which is racemose? Aniket, no. See, I told you, racemose के लिए example is Brassicaceae and Fabaceae. And cymose के लिए example is Solanaceae and Liliaceae. Okay, so brinjal is what? Solanaceae family, right? So cymose should be the inflorescence. Tulip and aloe vera belongs to Liliaceae. Soya bean is Fabaceae. So racemose is inflorescence, which is racemose is Fabaceae over here. Soya bean is an example for Fabaceae, no? So that is the reason why I told you all to by heart the examples. So questions are always asked from those examples. And these are the patterns of question you get. Did you all understand the pattern?
Yes, ma'am.
They will never ask you family. They might ask you family. That time you are very lucky. Nowadays, paper pattern is becoming difficult. So you won't be getting this kind of questions with the families. You get with the examples. Okay. Now, look over here. This is the flower. This is the flower. Okay, this whole thing is the flower. And this is the stalk of the flower, which is called as pedicel. Below the flower, you will see these are the sepals. This is sepals, petals, and rhecium, gynoecium. Below the flower, can you see a leaf-like structure? Below the flower, you can see a leaf-like structure below the flower, no? These are known as bracts. These are known as bracts. And if you find a flower with bracts, we will call that flower as bracteate flower. And the symbol is BR. And if the flower doesn't have bract, then we will call it as ebracteate flower. And the symbol is EBR. Did you get this? Please write down. Okay. Now, look over here. Now we are going to study about the types of flowers based on the position of the ovary. Okay, based on the position of the ovary. You know that, I'll borrow one slide. So you know that this is called as the pistil या फिर ये carpel. This is the female reproductive structure. ये पूरे को हम बोलेंगे carpel. Whole thing is known as carpel. और pistil. This whole thing is known as carpel या फिर pistil. This part is known as ovary. The lower mulch, the bulged part is known as ovary. इसको हम बोलेंगे style. This is known as style. And the topmost part is the stigma. The topmost part is the stigma. So stigma, style, ovary. तीनों को साथ में मिलाकर हम लोग बोलते हैं कार्पल या फिर पिस्टल. Okay? Okay. अभी position, now we are classifying plant based on the position of the ovary. Suppose सोचो कि now think that this is the thalamus या फिर receptacle. This is the receptacle of the flower. ये है फ्लावर का रिसेप्टिकल. This is the cup-shaped receptacle of a flower. And pistil is situated over here. Carpel या फिर pistil is situated over here. Okay. Now the other words. What are the other words? Sepals, petals, and androecium. Let's draw them. Okay. So sepals यहाँ से आएगा. ये है petals. ये है androecium. Stamens. Look over here. Sepals, petals, androecium are arising below the ovary. Ovary के नीचे से आ रहे हैं. ये सब ovary के नीचे से arise हो रहा है. ऐसे वाले फ्लावर जहां पर सेपल ओवरी ऊपर है और दूसरे वर्ड्स उसके नीचे से आ रहा है, which are coming below it. See, below the ovary. That kind of flower is known as hypogynous flower. Okay, it is called as hypogynous flower. So the flower in which the sepals, petals, and androecium are arising below the ovary, that is called as hypogynous flower. We say that the ovary is superior. And we use a symbol for that. We write G, G means gynoecium, and we put a dash below it. Like this. We put a dash below it to show that ovary is superior. Okay. So For this example will be all the families from your textbook, okay, will be the examples. All the 4 families in your textbook are the examples for hypogynous flower. Okay. All the 4 families in your textbooks are the example. No need of writing this example. All the 4 families, Brassicaceae, Solanaceae, Liliaceae, and Fabaceae are the examples. Did you all understand superior ovarica? What is a hypogynous flower is meant by? Did everybody get this? Aniket, Christabel, Parth, and Ronak. Did you all understand?
Yes.
Okay, just
Yes,
draw
ma'am.
this. I will teach the next one. Draw this picture. This picture you draw and write down below that hypogynous flower or symbol ये डालो. और चारों families का example लिखो. Okay? जल्दी. Next, we are going to see a different kind of flower. In which thalamus is like this. Okay. And this is the pistil. This is the pistil. And these are the sepals. Petals. And stem. So you can see that these are arising from the neck of the ovary itself. It is not coming below it. It is coming almost near to the ovary. So this condition, we call it as ovary is half inferior. This kind of flowers are known as perigynous flower. And we will give a symbol like this because it is half inferior, no? Because they are almost to the neck of the ovary. Almost to the half of the ovary they are arising. So like this, we put a dash next to the ovary. Okay, for that example is RPP, rose, plum and peach. Because this is the symbol. This one is the symbol. Look over here. These two are the examples for perigynous flower. You can see over here, it is arising from here, but it is somewhat towards the neck of the ovary. Here also, it is coming half into the neck of the ovary. So it is half inferior. It's not coming completely below. This is a hypogynous flower. These two are perigynous flower. Okay. Write down this first, perigynous flower, half inferior, examples, and then draw the diagram. Draw this diagram. Next kind of thing what we are going to see is over here. This is the over here. This is the thalamus. Which building? Main here, huh? Okay. Ring always left answer number one. Okay. So this is the thalamus. Now The gynoecium, the other whorls are going to come from here. This is the sepal. These are the petals. And this is the stamens. So all the other whorls are coming from the thalamus, top of the thalamus, right? And completely the ovary is below it. So this kind of ovary is known as epigynous or inferior ovary. So you will write G and the dash will be above it like this. This cut. So all other words are coming above the thalamus. All other words are coming above the thalamus. Okay. This is the sepal, petal, and androecium. Okay, this kind of flowers are known as epigynous flower. Okay, epigynous flower, and 3 examples are there. You have to remember cucumber, guava, and sunflower. So I made a mnemonic kugusu. Okay, cucumber, guava, and sunflower. For perigynous, RPP, rose, plum, and pudding. Hypogynous, all the examples from the textbook. Got it? Now draw this picture. Oh, yeah. Sorry. So here you can see all the three whorls are coming below the ovary. So this is superior ovary, or it is also called as, hypogynous flower. Here, whorls are coming above it. So it is inferior, half inferior ovary. And here, ovary is completely submerged below. From the top of that, all other whorls are going to come. So this is completely inferior ovary or epigynous flower. So for hypogynous,
Miss, the second one is also half inferior.
yeah, second and third is half inferior.
Okay.
First one is hypo, this is two is half inferior, and this is completely inferior. Okay. So questions from this topic. So this is a very important part of the flower from in terms of NEET. Okay. So one question you will get, they'll give the same pictures and they will jumble up the other options and they will tell you to match. So that kind of question, picture based question is expected. And the second type of question, what you can expect is examples. With the examples, they will ask you which of the following are epigynous, which of the following are perigynous. With the examples, they're going to ask. And the third one is the symbols. So you should know how you're representing a superior ovary, half inferior ovary, and an inferior ovary. Okay. So if you are thorough with that, then you can easily bag about 8 marks from this topic. Okay, 2 questions from this part is only going to come. Okay. So now can you answer this question? Among China rose, mustard, brinjal, potato, guava, cucumber, onion, and tulip, how many have superior ovary? Now tell me the number, put it in the chat box, please. Okay, don't call out the answer. How many are having superior ovary? Superior ovary matlab hypogynous flower. I already got an answer, Parth. Okay. Parth has already answered. Okay, it's okay. Parth again changed his answer. Fine. Aniket and Christabel?
Just a second.
Yeah, take your time. So let's see. So China rose is one of the example. It's given over here. See, China rose. So China rose is nothing but hibiscus flower. Okay, it's also called as China rose. This one, it has superior ovary. Obviously, then other four examples comes from the four families. So mustard belongs to Brassicaceae, even that. Brinjal belongs to Solanaceae. Potato also belongs to Solanaceae, so I can count on it. Guava, no. Cucumber, no. Onion belongs to Liliaceae family. And tulip also belongs to Liliaceae family. So what's the count? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So answer is 6. All of you all are wrong. I don't know why you all said 3. So you just counted mustard, China rose, and brinjal. Brinjal.
I didn't see only the China rose.
Okay, you didn't see the China rose. Fine. So look over here. That's why I'm stressing on it. For hypogynous flower, all the four families, all the examples of the four families in the NCRT are included. Along with that, add China rose. Okay? Okay. Now try to do the next question. Perigynous flower are found in, what is perigynous? Ovary is half inferior, half inferior. So you know the mnemonic and let me know. Put in the chat, drop in the Parth and Aniket, right. Christabel, waiting for your answer.
Ma'am, I've sent you the answer.
Okay, so we need to start reading from the flower. Okay, go through your textbooks. So the flower is a reproductive unit in angiosperms. It is meant for asexual reproduction. A typical flower has 4 different kinds of whorls arranged successfully on a swollen end of the stalk on the pedicel. First one is thalamus and receptacle. So what is a thalamus or a receptacle? It is a structure on which the whorls of the flower are arranged. Correct. These are, what are the 3-4 whorls of the flower? Calyx, corolla, androecium, and gynoecium. So calyx and corolla are the accessory organs, while the androecium and gynoecium are the reproductive organs. So in some flowers, what are you going to see in some flowers? Like lily, the calyx and corolla are not distinct and it is termed as perianth. When the flowers has both androecium and gynoecium, it is called bisexual flower. Okay, we are going to see what is this perianth in a few minutes. A flower having only stamens or only carpels, it is known as unisexual flower. So when it comes to symmetry, the flower may be actinomorphic, which is radially symmetrical, and zygomorphic, which is bilaterally symmetrical. When a flower can be divided into two equal halves in any radial plane passing through the center, it is said to be actinomorphic. Example, mustard, datura, and chili. Actinomorphic. When a flower has two similar halves, only one particular vertical plane, it is zygomorphic. P. gulmohar, bean, cassia. A flower is asymmetric. It can be divided into two similar halves in any vertical plane passing through the center. Example is canal. A flower may be trimerous, tetramerous, or pentamerous when the floral appendages are in the multiples of 3, 4, and 5 respectively. Flowers with bracts, reduced leaf found at the base of the pedicel is said to be bracteate, and those without bracts is said to be ebracteate. Okay, based on the position of the calyx, corolla, and rhecium in respect to the ovary and thalamus, the flower is described as hypogynous, perigynous, and epigynous. In hypogynous flower, the gynoecium occupies the highest position while the other parts are situated below it. The ovary in which the flower is said to be superior. Example is mustard, china rose, and brinjal. Not only that, including all the 4 families. If gynoecium is situated in the center and other parts of the flower are located at the rim of the thalamus, see, it is starting from the rim of the thalamus, whereas the gynoecium is at the center. Almost at the same level. See, they are at the same level. Same level of the ovary, neck to neck of the ovary. Then it is perigynous. Example is plum, rose, and peach. In epigynous flower, the margin of the thalamus grows upward, enclosing the ovary completely and getting fused with it. The other parts of the flower arise above the ovary. Hence, the ovary is said to be inferior in the flowers of guava and cucumber. And guava and cucumber, what is going to happen? Thalamus completely encloses the whole gynoecium, and from that, from whole carpel, and above that it arises, not at the neck, above the ovary. Okay. Now, next, let's see the parts of a flower. First, we are going to study about, just a second, it's loading. I'm sharing the PPT. First, it is said to be calyx. Calyx is the outermost. This green color thing, what you find now, this is known as calyx. This is the outermost whorl of the flower. Each one is known as sepal. Group of sepals is calyx. So, sepal is nothing but group of calyx. Okay, it is group of sepals are calyx. Symbol in the floral formula, you are writing it as K. Okay. Sometimes you can see calyx like this. See, you can easily remove one sepals out of this. You can easily remove one sepal out of it. Sometimes they are fused like this. You cannot remove. So if they are free, we use a word as polysepalous. And if they are fused, we use a word as gamosepalous. Polysepalous matlab free sepals, gamosepalous matlab fused sepals. Now poly doesn't mean many here. Poly means free. Did you understand? Did everybody follow this? Write down. Now, how am I going to represent the calyx in the floral formula? Now, I will write K. If I'm talking about this flower, this one, how many sepals are there? 1, 2, 3, 4. And they are free. They are not attached. So, I will write K, 4. And I like this, K, 4. This means there are 4 sepals. Now, look over here. How many sepals are there? If I see over here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I will write for this as K is the symbol formula. I will write 5. And I will put a bracket around it. Why bracket? Because they are fused. Abhi iske liye how much I'm going to write? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I will write K. Iske niche I will write 5. And I'm going to put a bracket around it, which means they are gamosepalous. Did you understand this? Aniket, Christabel, Parth, did you get this?
Yes, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
You didn't understand? Okay.
Mhm.
Look over here. How many sepals are there in this? 1, 2, 3, 4. And they are free, right? They are not fused with each other. They are not attached to one another. They are not adhering each other. They are free. So in the floral formula, you will write it as K. K is the symbol for calyx. And you have to mention how many calyx are there. How many are there, Christabel? 4 are there, right? So
Yes,
you will
ma'am.
write 4. And you won't put a bracket because they are free. So bracket means they are attached. Now look over here. Here, each calyx is attached to the other from the bottom. So there are totally 5 calyx. Why did I put it in the bracket? Because they are fused. Here, why did I put them in the bracket? Because they are fused. So you mention it in the bracket only when they are fused. Now, did you get it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine. This is regarding to the floral formula. Now, let's think about the floral. Let's talk about the floral diagram. So, you know, in your textbook, you have so many families, Brassicaceae, Solanaceae, and each one is having its own floral diagram. Now, if I see a floral diagram, the outermost wall, the green color over here, this is the calyx, what they are representing. This, the outermost green color thing is the calyx, and the second one is the corolla, the petal one. So a flower is having 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 calyx, but they are arranged in 2 whorls. Matlab, 2 are inside, 4 calyx are there, they are arranged in 2 whorls. It's like this. Means 2 calyx are in one whorl, one round, and the other 2 are in other. Okay, see? Can you see this one? This is completely out. This is completely out. These 2 are completely inside. Right? So they are arranged. If I draw a circle, so I will get 2 whorls of calyx. See, I'll get 2 whorls of calyx. So what will I mention, right? I will write K. K I'm going to write. First, I will mention the outermost whorl. How many calyx are there in the outermost whorl? 2 calyx are there. Are they fused? No, they are free. See, their margins are free. Then I will write plus the inside whorl of the calyx. 2 are there. They are also free. Okay, so calyx can be in 2 whorls. Got it? Did you all understand this one?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now coming to this picture. Here, the outermost whorl is the calyx. This is the calyx. 1, 2, 3. This is bract they are showing. Okay, don't mention this. This is the bract 3. This is not in your syllabus. 4, 3. Wait a second. 4, 5. So they are in one whorl. So I will write K, 5. K5. Are they fused? They are free, no? See, the margins are free. So I won't put it in the bracket. Are you understanding how I'm explaining each and everything? Okay. Let's go to the next one. Okay. Look over here. This is the family of Solanese. So tell me how to represent this one. Which is the calyx? Which is the calyx whorl? You all only tell me. In this diagram, which is the calyx whorl and how many calyx are there? I think I got the answer. K5. Okay. Okay. Aniket is saying K and 5. This is what Aniket is saying. Aniket, you meant K5. One word. Okay. But Aniket, don't you think you should put a bracket? Look over here. They are fused. See? Calyx are fused. They are joined. Right, Aniket? See, they are joined here. So it should be K bracket 5. Okay. Yes, Aniket, you're right. Okay. Did others understand? Parth, Christabel,
Yes. Yes.
and Ronak. Did you all get it? Okay. Ronak is off and on today. Why?
No, ma'am.
Internet is
Present.
unstable.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. You can ask the recordings. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Now the next word. We finished with the calyx. Now the next word. That is the corolla. So single one is known as corolla. Single one is known as corolla. Corolla is corolla. Single one is known as petal. Group of petals is known as corolla. Now, single one, we'll call it as petal. Group is known as corolla. Excuse me. The symbol for this is C. If the petals are free, we will call it as polypetalous. If the petals are fused with each other, margins are fused with each other, we will call it as gamopetalous. Okay, so now in this flower, this is polypetalous. They are free. How many petals are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I will write C5. Okay, C5 because they are not fused with each other. Understood? Please. Enough of this. I'm tired to see you like this. You're no very weak boy you are. Okay. Now look at this condition over here. You can see this flower is having, this is, no, this is little higher, but if you don't understand, it's okay. Okay. So this flower is having two whorls. Can you make out? This is one whorl of corolla and these two are another whorl of corolla. Can you make out that? This 3 is one whorl and this 2 is another whorl. So they have written it as, actually it shouldn't be, they are not joined to each other, no? So it should be like, see, outer whorl is having 3 and inner whorl is having 2. This is how they are mentioned. Okay. So after this, we are going to study a new term that is perianth. Now, what is a perianth? Especially in monocots, in Liliaceae family. Monocots, which family? Liliaceae family. You see that sepals and petals are fused. Sepals and petals fuse and form a tepal. And the group of tepals are known as perianth. Okay? Sepals and petals unite to form tepal and the group of whorl is known as perianth. This is seen in monocots, especially lilies. And the symbol for perianth is P. You mention it as P. Got it? Please write down and let me know. Okay. Look over here. Yeah. Next, we'll go to estivation. Now, what is estivation? Now, we studied sepals, petals, arrangement, right? Calyx, corolla, arrangements. We saw so many kinds of arrangements. Now, we saw so many calyx and corolla. Look how they are. Look at this picture. The way they are arranged. Okay. So, how are they arranged like next to each other? Are the petals or sepals overlapping? Okay. The study of that is known as estivation. So, estivation is the mode of arrangement of sepals or petals in a floral bud. In the bud condition, how the sepals or petals are arranged? Are they overlapping each other? Are they fused with each other? Are they free? These studies are known as estivation. With respect to the other members of the same word is known as estivation. This is the definition of estivation. And estivation is always studied in the bud stage of flower. We don't take a bloom flower and study this estivation. Okay. So we are going to see how how the calyx and corolla are arranged. Okay, how is their arrangement? That study is known as estivation. Right now. Okay. So next we are going to see the valvate estivation. What is valvate estivation? Agar if sepals and petals are arranged like this, they might be fused or may not be fused. But look at the margins. The margins are not overlapping. They're just placed one next to each other. Sometimes they may be fused. See the fusion. If for fusion, I will always show the symbol like this in the floral diagram. Like this, a loop. We write a loop. But the margins are not overlapping each other. They are placed next to each other. This kind of estivation is known as valvate estivation. This picture is from your textbook. Okay, margins do not overlap. Example is calotropes. Next one is twisted. The name only says. You can see the margins overlapping. See, one margin is outside, one is inside. Inside, outside. One is in, one is out, one is in. Out, in, out, in. Can you see the margins over here? They are in and out. So this kind of estivation is known as twisted estivation. Sometimes they might be fused. If they are fused, this margin is fused with this. They can be fused or free, but they are overlapping each other. See, this is twisted estivation. One is in, one is out. They can be free or they can be twisted. Okay. The next kind of estivation, what we are going to see is imbricate estivation. For twisted estivation, let's see the examples. Example is cotton, china rose, okra. Okra is lady's finger. Okay. Imbricate estivation. Here, it is not, it's just like a twisted estivation. But in a twisted estivation, there is a proper orientation. Like one, if in a petal or a sepal, if one margin is out, the other margin will be inside. So that is common. See, over here you can see, ye bahar hai, this is under. The next margin is outside and this one is inside. Outside, inside. Outside, inside. Outside, inside. So it's arranged in that way. Okay, complete overlapping on one another. But here it doesn't have that orientation. Here you can see, look at this margin. This sepal or petal, you can see over here. Ye pura, both the margins are inside. Can you see over here? Wait, I'll erase and then I'll show you all. Look at this one. Look at this one. You can see both the margins are inside, right? Now look at this one. These both the margins are outside. So one sepal or petal has both the margins inside. Another sepal and petal has both the margins outside. But the other three are overlapping. See here, this has one side outside and one in. Inside, outside. Inside, outside. This kind of estivation is known as imbricate. So one is completely in and one is completely out. Other margins are in and out. So this is imbricate estivation. And the example for this is cassia and gulmohar. Okay. Next estivation is known as vexillary estivation. This is known as vexillary estivation, or you can say it as papillonaceous estivation. This is seen in complete Fabaceae. All the Fabaceae, the examples of Fabaceae have this vexillary estivation. Now, what is happening over here? This is the largest petal. Look, this is completely outside, and we call it as vexillary ya fir standard petal. Look at these two. These are at the sides. So I can see nearly how many whorls are there in this in the corolla. One whorl. This is like 3 whorls are there. 1, 2, 3. The outermost whorl is this one. We call that petal as standard or vexillary petal. This is the second whorl. How many petals are there in the second whorl? 2. So I've written 1 plus 2. 2 means these two. We call them as wing petal or alley petal. And the third whorl is this one where they are fused. See, they are fused. And we call these two petals as keel petal or carina. Okay. And why bracket is given? Because these two are fused. So this is the floral formula. One standard petal, wing petal, keel petal, and they are fused. So this is vexillary estivation. And whole Fabaceae shows this kind of estivation. Write down this in your book because picture is in the textbook. This part you all write down. Did you understand estivation? Aniket, Christabel, Parth and Ronak?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. 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 Next, we are studying about androecium. So, what is androecium? Androecium is male reproductive structure. Single unit of androecium is known as single unit is known as stamen. So this is stamen. This is stamen, single unit. The group is known as androecium. Single is known as stamen. Group of stamens are known as androecium. So androecium is of two types. Sorry, not two types. Androecium. So group of stamens are known as androecium. Single unit of androecium is stamen. When I take a stamen is divided into two parts. The lower one, which is attached to the thalamus. See, this is attached to the thalamus. This is known as filament and it is sterile. And the upper one, you can see two lobes are there and this is anther. And inside anther only you have pollen sacs and inside pollen sacs you'll be getting the pollen grains. So stamen has two parts, anther and filament. Okay. Now, if the anther of the stamen is without pollen sac, then it is a sterile anther. We call sterile anther as staminode. Staminate is a flower which is not having pistil. Staminode is a flower in which the anther doesn't have pollen sacs. Be clear with these. Staminode and staminate. Male flower is known as staminate. मतलब उस flower में सिर्फ anthers है, with stamens है. A staminode is a flower in which anther doesn't have pollen sac. Okay. Now, if anthers are free like this, see they are not attached to each other. Free hai. They are attached to the thalamus, but एक दूसरे से attachment नहीं. If the anthers are free, we call it as polyandrous. Polyandrous matlab anthers are free. Polyandrous. Anthers are free. इसका मतलब एक anthers are free, means polyandrous. And the symbol we use is A के नीचे Y, A के नीचे N. N is number of anthers, stamens. So let's see how many stamens are there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stamens are there. And they are free. So I will write A and 5. No bracket, nothing. This is polyandrous condition. Okay. Write till here, write till here. Don't write epipetalous, write till here. I'll tell you all what is epipetalous. So much you'll write.
Ma'am.
Tell me, Ronak.
Ma'am, 7 o'clock से क्लास है दूसरी.
हाँ पता है 7 o'clock तक है ना क्लास.
मैम 6 तक है.
6 तक है. नहीं भाई 7 o'clock तक है.
ओके मैम.
हाँ 7 तक है. Session from 4 to 7 p.m. Okay, हाँ. So Pauline, 7:46, another 15 minutes I'll do, then I'll leave you. So you can take a break for your next session. Okay, which class you all have, Ronak?
फिजिक्स मैम.
Gaurav sir का. हाँ?
यस मैम.
Okay, YouTube में ना? हाँ 6:45
Yes.
like that. Okay. Next is unequal stamens we are going to study. Now ये ना under polyandrous kind we have unequal stamens. यहाँ पर क्या होता है कि stamen का length ना equal नहीं होगा. Stamen, all stamens do not have equal length. Some of them have small this is equal length because all stamens are of equal length. ये last वाला छोड़ दो. They are of equal length. Sometimes what happens? Some filaments will be long. Some of their filaments will be short. They are polyandrous only. See, they are not attached to each other. ऐसे वाले condition को unequal stamens बुलाते हैं. Example is brassicaceae and salvia. In brassicaceae, we use a word also called as tetradynamous. Tetradidymus. क्योंकि brassicaceae में you will write andrecium A 2 plus 4 like this you are going to write. मतलब 2 लंबे हैं और 4 are small. 4 are small. So ऐसे वाले अरेंजमेंट 4 स्मॉल और 2 लंबे इसको हम बोलते हैं टेट्राडाइनमस अरेंजमेंट. यू कैन सी दिस इन ब्रासिकेस. ओके अभी जल्दी से लिखो. विल कंप्लीट एंड्रीशियम एंड देन आई विल लीव यू. देन विल वाइंड अप द क्लास. ओके राइट दिस पार्ट. I think it's finished writing about this. Next, we will move to yes. Now, what is epipetalous? Now, here stamens are free. They are not attached to one another, but they are attached to the petal. So, if you consider this as the petal, these stamens are attached to the petal. They are sticking, adhered to the petal ends. To the petal, they are attached. So, if you pull out the petal, you will get stamens also along with it. That kind of condition is known as epipetalous, stamens attached to the petals. Solanaceae is an example for this. See, petal is attached with stamens. And what you will show in the floral formula is, what you're going to do is like, you're going to write petals over here. See, this is the example. How many petals are there in Solanaceae? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 petals are there and they are fused, no? So I will write a bracket. And how many androecium are there? 5. And they are free. They are not attached. But you will put in floral diagram, you're going to mark it in this way. What does this mean? Androecium is attached to the petals. C means corolla, no? Group, yeah. So it is attached to it. So this is how you represent in a floral diagram. And in floral formula, you are going to attach the, ये देखो, ये क्या है? ये stamen, filament to the petal. So this arrangement tells about epipetals. This arrangement. Are you all understanding this? Did you all get this? How epipetalous is there and what kind of arrangement you find over there? Understood? Write down this part. Solanaceae is an example. Hope it is done. Next, we will move to the topic which says epiphyllous. Epiphyllous matlab same, but stamens are attached to perianth. Now, stamens will be attached to perianth. Same thing you will do. You will write perianth. Let me consider perianth is 5 in a plant. Okay. And androecium is also 5. So, since they are attached, you will put a mark like this. And over here, you can see in this floral diagram, see, you will show that the filament is attached to the tepals. Each filament is attached to the tepals. This is a diagram of Liliaceae. So, Liliaceae mein you will see perianth is in 2 walls. Ye bahar wala wall. 1, 2, 3. So, I will write 3. और ये अंदर वाला wall. 1, 2, 3. 3 plus 3. Since सब कुछ they have been fused, so it is attached to each other. So fusion हुआ है. Androecium कितना है? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 androecium are there. So I'll just change the color. So we will write andretium is this is andretium. You will write 6. 6 andretium, and there is a joint between them like this. So this is how you represent. Got it? This is for lilies. Okay. Write down this epiphyllus and let me know. Next one slide I'll do and then I'll leave you. So by next class, within next class, we'll finish morphology. Okay, morphology will be completed in the next class. Over? Are you all writing? Okay. So next condition is stamens are fused with other stamens. If stamens are fused with other stamens, okay, if the filaments are fused, stamen has two parts, no, filaments and anther. If filaments are fused and anthers are free, we use a word called as delphus. Delphus का मतलब filaments are fused and anthers are free. Monodelphous मतलब सारे filaments are fused. देखो ये plant, hibiscus plant का stem है. See, this is all the filaments are fused, सिर्फ anthers are free. Yellow color का दिखता है ना, ये anthers है. So filaments are fused and anthers are free. सब एक bunch में है. तो इसको बोलेंगे monodelphous. Example is China rose, hibiscus plant. Didelphous में you can see 2 bundles. देखो यहाँ पर एक बंडल है और यहाँ पर एक बंडल है. So diadelphous, 2 बंडल, 2 बंडल फॉर्म हुआ है. Example is P, मतलब सारे Fabaceae में diadelphous. Polyadelphous is seen in citrus. See how many bundles are there? 1, 2, 3 bundles are there. More than 2 bundles को हम बोलेंगे polyadelphous. Delphous का मतलब क्या है? Stamens are, filaments are fused and anthers are free. Monoadelphous मतलब सारे filaments are fused and it is forms 1 bundle. Diadelphous 2 bundles रहेगा. Polyadelphous many bundles. बस इतना ही. Okay? जल्दी से लिख लो, then I'll wind up the class. Gauri and Aniket, write down soon. After you all finish writing, no, you can leave the class. Okay, I'll wind up the class. Write down soon and then leave the class. Done? Aniket and Gauri? Or
Yes, ma'am.
take a screenshot of it if it is not done. Okay. Okay, then I'll wind up the class. Okay, you all have Gaurav sir's class. No, take a break and then join. Bye-bye. Take care.